Yeah.
Coin dance. My day is good. So today we're somewhere completely different. It is theoretically still the same park, but we traveled a long distance and we're somewhere where I did last week Wednesday a quick metal detecting session just to see what's out there, and it looked pretty promising.
We found a nickel from 1928.
Yeah, and some other cool little things.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see if we can find some more here.
Can you hear the birds?
It is beautiful here, and even though it's not that far from the beaten path, it's off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Well, my name's Ab,
I'm Carrie.
and this is...
So, I uncovered this.
Oh, it's an axe!
I found my first silver coin.
They're gorgeous.
Just look at that! Oh my god!
It's a...
I just found a penny from 1942.
I'm digging in hole. I'm just shaking. We're in a little clearing here. You can't really see it because it's in front of me. And well, I found another pretty cool target. One sec, I will show you. So this is the little clearing. And it's a weird clearing because I mean it's pretty hard to get here. And then I found under this tree this blank. So they were training here too, and this looks like it's a 68. So it's a little bit older than the one that we found beforehand. Okay, let's see what else we can find. So in this field I got this really weird signal, and look what I found. It's a 1928 nickel. Look how beautiful it is on the other side too. I don't know if it can... Yeah, look at the king. Oh, Carrie's going to flip.
Check it out. I found maybe about 3 or 4 nails, and I just found this because of the lid. It says Gordon's Dry Gin. Neat, eh? That's probably rainwater that's seeped into it. Anything on the bottom? Ooh. Whoa. Cool, look at that. That is a neat bottom. It almost looks like a pontil where they pressed it into the glass. Let's see. Oh, stuff on the bottom. Ooh, on the sides it says London. Oh, wow, that's really cool. London, England. That is so neat. So Ab and I come across this really interesting flat area, and it's cleared out. And look what I just found. I found another one of those NATO bullets. His was 69, so this one's probably the same year. Cool, eh?
Underneath this tree, on a root, was pretty deep. I found this pocket knife. Look at it. Look at it. It is pretty cool. I love finding pocket knives. Like, look, it has some enamel work on it, I think it is. Carrie, come and see my pocket knife. Hey, come and see it. It's cool. Like, I cleaned it a little bit, and you can see the enamel.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
That is cool, isn't it?
That is really neat. Maybe it's First Nations art?
I don't know what it is.
No, maybe. That's cool. That's a good sign.
That is a good sign.
High five.
High five. Woo!
I came across this log, dug it up. Look what it is. It's a horseshoe. Look how small it is. At least I think it's a horseshoe. Yeah, it's a horseshoe. You can see the curvature there. Look how small that horse was. It was a little bitty horse. Oh, and that's so crazy because we're like in this ravine in the middle of the woods. It's crazy. Or it could mean that we're close to the homestead. Oh, ho, 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 ho. There was a homestead here in the 1800s that had cows.
Now look what I found. If you look at this, there's like a little bit of a...
Yeah.
I think this is a pry bar of some sort.
Cool.
It's heavy as shit.
Are you gonna bring it home?
Nah, I'm gonna work out with it here. Ah! This is more your territory.
I know.
Let me stick it in your pocket there.
This one? I don't think it fits. That's funny. I tried digging that one up. I gave up. But my husband has more gumption.
So I found another fig tree nickel, 1943 again. This one is not so great condition. And that's like what I love to find. The other side is really bad.
Right.
But
you can see the head of the king there.
They're also made from a really poor material. Like they were not designed to last. That was in the war. In the war, they used all the good metals for ammo and that kind of stuff. I found another old ass 1943 victory nickel. Yeah! Woo!
Yeah.
Coin dance. My day is good.
So I had a signal right in that hole of the tree, and I'm like, ooh, it's treasure. Look what it was. Do you see it? That is scary. It's like a scalpel.
Did I see it?
It says Utility S on it.
Ooh, that's an old one.
You think so?
I know so.
It's not some scary person in the woods.
But it could be too. Because there is a murder string there. Look here, murder string. Murder string.
No. Weird, eh? What do you think?
It's not that old, but they have not made these for so long.
Oh, scalpel. This was going to be my job one day.
What, murderer?
No. Passing the scalpel to the doctor. Oh my god. Alright, see you later.
From this hole, I found this pocket knife. And that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
And then Carrie, whoa, drops all her finds on the floor.
I found a screwdriver, pliers, and this
it's a wine opener.
Wine and beer opener all in the same hole, just over that way.
And a knife.
That's cool. That's a big one.
That's a big one.
Wow.
In this hole, we found a pair of pliers. It's starting to look like there's a lot of tools here. So somebody was building a lean-to. Maybe even use it for a little bit. That's pretty cool. You find all kinds of weird stuff here. I like this little square.
Out! These were inside this here. Look at this. They still have the bullets. Holy shit. What's it say on the bottom? Look. Corroded a bit. These are live rounds. Can't see what they say. Weird, eh? They're still on the plastic for some reason. Morning, everyone. We're in the same park. Last night we did some We did some research, and hopefully we're where we want to be for an old homestead. Let's get metal detecting and see what we can find.
Am I allowed to talk now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Ab.
I'm Carrie.
And we're continuing metal detecting.
See you later. Goodbye.
Bye. So we're here in a field where they said once a dairy farm was. And we find a lot of iron and stuff, so it could be true. And I find this here. It was practically a service find. So cool. It's becoming more and more garbage, and I find a 22 spent cartridge. My next find is a Canuck 12 gauge shotgun shell stamp, head stamp, and an nondescript for now. Oh, a nondescript for now blank. I'm not sure what this is.
Oh, we're so lucky we found the remnants of a building. And you can see a wall, like it continues there. It's a foundation. It's made out of cement. Ab's found a couple of blanks so far, but look what this is my first real good find of the day. I found lots of nails and lots of tin foil and bottle caps, but I just found this right beside the wall here. An axe! Yeah. I am the Iron Maiden! Just found another rifle casing. It's not the NATO one, it's a different one. But I found it right next to the foundation on the inside. Cool, eh? Just found a piece of what looks to be barbed wire, which is a good sign for a farm. I found a brick, which is a good sign of a homestead or a dwelling in the forest. Hi everyone, welcome to our wrap-up. We did some research before we went out last time, and we were trying to find an 1890s homestead. Instead, we found two other areas that have some history, and I think we found some artifacts that prove that. The first area we went to, we found a lot of screwdrivers and pliers, and even some knives. And back in the 1920s and 30s, there was squatters that were there, and they made shakes and shingles.
We found some reminiscences of that too, like old wood, which did not make any sense to me, but now does.
Also, they took the bark off of cascara trees, and they got 10 to 15 cents a bag, and that was used for laxatives. So I'm thinking these screwdrivers were helping out with making those products. The other area we discovered, we're going to call the army, what's it called?
Barracks, garrison?
Oh, the army canteen. And
okay.
It was a concrete foundation in the woods, and I was so excited when I found it. I thought I found the 1890s homestead. But they weren't lugging concrete up the side of a cliff for this building in the 1890s. So we think it's army related because we found tons of bullets.
I think that is part of the defense that was set up. There's some gun towers, fairly well close enough to it, and so I think those were barracks for the soldiers that were there during the war and after the war, and especially when you look at the spent shell casings, they basically start at like an age of like 1940s, and go all the way up to like the 68, 69, and some really modern ones, like for instance the 2 live rounds. These are the first 2 actual live rounds that have a payload. Most of the ones that we found up until now in the forest there have been the blanks. And they basically range from 68 to 1970s. So
I also, at the canteen, I found 1 brick, which suggests a building, and Coke bottles back in the day had dates on the bottom. So this one says 1958. There was tons of broken glass.
Tons of it, yeah.
It was like Ab said, maybe they were doing shooting practice, or kids were smashing them on the concrete. I don't know, but I think people were actually drinking those bottles there during that time period. And I also found a couple of pieces of barbed wire, and I was excited because that's from the homestead. You know, they had cows up there.
And I said, well, if it's army barracks, it could be for protection, because they put like barbed wire around barracks. So we're not 100% sure.
No. I also found an axe head, which I love finding.
Yeah, that is Carrie. She's the Iron Maiden. She finds old iron and she loves it.
Yeah, the bigger the better. I found a tiny horseshoe. And my interesting find, I found a scalpel, which is pretty creepy for me to find in the woods. Like, why is there a scalpel in the
And we
woods?
found also a murder string there.
And some little bits and ends. I found another dog tag. I thought this was part of a gas mask at first, but you know what it is? It's a talcum powder.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. And what about your horseshoe?
I already talked about my horseshoe.
But it's so nice and small.
Ab said maybe it was from a donkey.
I think it's from either a pony or something smaller than a big horse.
Because it's very, very steep terrain where we were.
You also found this really cool bottle.
Yes. And it dates from the 1930s, 1920s. I thought it was earlier because it's embossed London, England on each side. And it has a really neat design on the bottom. You'll see a picture.
Ponto mark. So, in my interesting finds, I found 2 pocket knives, and I found a pair of pliers, which I love. I also found a cup and a fork. The fork and the cup aren't that old, but still, I mean, I'm more like stoked by the cup than the fork, but hey, I found the fork. Then I basically go to my star finds, and I pull basically a couple of interesting coins out of the ground. I found a quarter from 1968, and I first thought it was silver because they made silver quarters in from 1968. That's also when they started making the nickel quarters. And this quarter could have been silver, it had the right color, but the magnet told me different. I also found another fee nickel, 1943. This one is not as good shape as the other one that I found. But like, yeah, I still like finding these old coins. And then finally, the coin that I really love is a 1928 nickel, and it's gorgeous. It's just like picture perfect.
And that's the coin that started off this hunt.
Sort of, because what I did a scouting action before we went there. Because it's in a location that's harder to get to and get away from. So I wanted to make sure that there was stuff. So I went the Wednesday before and I actually found that on Wednesday, not over the weekend. But it was still the same area. So I included it into this wrap up. Well, that's our wrap up for this time. They can't all be super exciting, but we still found some really cool things. It's what I said, like the coins that I found were really interesting coins to find. If you like our video, please like, subscribe, and share. Also, leave some comments below. We like to hear from you. We also have a Instagram and Facebook page, and the links to that will be in the description below.
Hopefully one of these days we'll find the 1890s homestead and we'll be the first ones to find it.
I think that's not going to happen. But it tells you that sometimes the best information is wrong. And we discovered that although we found a location where the homestead was supposed to be, we found most likely army barracks. Yeah. Well, my name is Ab.
I'm Carrie.
And this is the end of our wrap-up. Have an amazing evening.
May your finds be plentiful and all that you desire. Bye from Carrie.
Bye now.
Bye.